Oh. Well, I don't know what to do with my hands for today's. Hello. We're going down the desk. It likes to go down, and we're gonna build a PC on YouTube. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Trifect Tech Builds. I'm Trifect. Now let me tell you about this PC right here. This is an HP Omen pre-built computer that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a pretty interesting story of how this came to be in this video. This started as a simple Facebook Marketplace listing find. I found a listing for a RTX 2060 graphics card. The seller had two other listings, both for DDR4 RAM, one in 32 gigabyte kit, one in 16 gigabyte kit with RGB on it. After some negotiating, we came to a price of $200 for the GPU and the two kits of RAM. So we set up a meetup and I headed out. When I got there, the seller ended up being this really nice older gentleman who asked me what I was going to do with the parts. And I told him that I like building PCs and I was thinking of starting a YouTube channel to show that process. Then he asked, "Do you need a motherboard?" To which I replied, "Always." So he goes back inside, and when he comes out, he doesn't have just a motherboard. He comes out with an entire PC case that I could tell was an HP Omen pre-built, which is the one you see sitting here minus the GPU and the RAM, of course, because I had already purchased those. Now, I could tell that this was an AM4 system, but I had no idea what the CPU was underneath the AIO block. That's when he pulls up the original Best Buy listing on his account. And that's when I see it. This graphics card that I had just purchased from this man was not an RTX 2060. According to the Best Buy listing, it was an RTX 3060 Ti. The GPU has no labels or markings on it of any kind, so I was taking 2060 at face value from the listing. And at this point, we had already exchanged the $200 for the graphics card and the RAM. So I told him the truth, that this card was way better than the one I thought I was buying. He just smiled at me and said, "I guess you got a good deal then." So he was such a genuinely nice guy that when I made him the offer for the rest of the system, I wasn't about to cheap out or lowball him on it. We agreed on another $160 for the rest of the build, and that's how it came to be here. Now let me take you through the specs of this HP Omen pre-built and see what we're working with today. This is an HP Omen 30L pre-built computer from about late 2021. As I mentioned previously, it was purchased at Best Buy. The processor in this build is an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X CPU. It is a Zen 3 processor with 8 cores and 16 threads with a base clock speed of 3.8 gigahertz and a turbo frequency of up to 4.7 gigahertz. And it is of course on the AM4 socket. The motherboard is an HP Omen proprietary pre-built motherboard. The RAM in this build is Corsair Vengeance LPX 32 gigabytes, 2 sticks of 16 gigabytes each. That is not the original RAM that was in this pre-built. The original RAM was HyperX Fury RGB 16 gigabytes. Some of you might know from the last build on the channel that we put into the Good Buddies PC. It seems the owner must have upgraded to 32 gigabytes along the way and ended up selling me those two kits. The storage device or boot drive in this system is a 1 terabyte Western Digital SN530 NVMe SSD. It is important to note that two other SATA SSDs were included in this build when I purchased it, a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte. The 1 terabyte Samsung drive was actually included in the last video as well. I'm going to make sure to incorporate those costs and deductions when we get down to the financials at the end of the video. And as we discussed previously, the graphics card in the system is an RTX 3060 Ti. It is an HP OEM edition. It has 8 gigabytes of VRAM and it can still perform very well in 1080p gaming. Now the power supply for this system is an HP OEM Max Power 800 watt power supply. It is 80 plus gold rated and it actually is made by Cooler Master. Normally power supplies in pre-built computers use proprietary connections, but it appears as if this one has all the normal ATX connections. What I am going to do is I have a Dr. Power 3 PSU tester, so during the montage of me tearing this down, you will see that test. I'm going to do it live. If it fails, it's going to fail and we're going to swap in another power supplies. Perhaps I'm going to cut in right now and say that there's a new one. We'll have to find out. And of course, this is all contained in a 30L HP Omen pre-built case. Now, some things with this build right here, some issues that we're going to go over. First of all, pre-builts can be great. If you don't want to build your own PC or you don't have the knowledge and you just want to buy a computer and have it set up and no issues. But once you start upgrading them, you know, they get older with time. You want to start putting in faster RAM or more RAM. Even if you want to just move it into a new case, things can get complicated really fast. OEMs like HP are especially known to lock down the BIOS and have proprietary connectors everywhere. And that's where the problems normally start. I did get lucky with the power supply though. Normally these power supplies have proprietary connectors. This one seems to have all the standard ATX connections, so we're definitely going to be keeping that. This motherboard though, that's a no-go for me. I don't want to be stuck with the HP Omen BIOS, and I definitely don't want the future owner of this machine to be dealing with limitations or issues because of it. So instead of reusing the HP motherboard, we're going to be swapping that out for an MATX motherboard from MSI, and we're going to avoid all of that possible headache. We're also not going to be reusing the AIO in this. When I tested this computer out, it ran a little hot. That could be something as simple as the thermal paste drying up, or it could be something wrong with the AIO. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit further testing, and I think the parts that I don't use in this machine, like the case, the AIO, and the motherboard, it's possible I'll put them up on a site like eBay or maybe even Jawa and see if someone wants to sell that. And if I do that and it's in time for this video, I'll definitely let you guys know. So these parts right here are what we're going to use to upgrade this PC today. As some of you eagle-eyed viewers might be seeing, some of these components are white. We are doing a white build today, something I've personally never done. Every single one of my PCs that I've ever worked on have always been black, but white is very popular. And even though there are not a lot of white options for the AM4 motherboards out there, we are going to be doing white RAM, a white case, a white AIO. We're actually doing liquid cooling today. Something else that I've never done before is have a white GPU. This GPU, as you see here, that's black. We're actually going to be painting that. I've never painted a GPU before, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to paint it. I'm not going to do a tutorial on it. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube that you guys can watch. However, I'm going to document it, and we're going to see how that goes. I think this PC is going to come out looking pretty good. I'm excited to see how the white build turns out. So with that, let's tear down this PC, clean all the components, let's paint that graphics card, and then we'll go ahead and assemble the rest of the PC. Let's put on some music, and I'll meet you back here. All right, what an amazingly fun build that was to do. A lot of firsts for me. First painted graphics card, first all white build, first AIO for me. And that's part of the reason why I started this channel. I wanted to be able to play around with new hardware, and what better way to do it than to document it and show all of you guys. Now, the one thing I do have to say about this build right here is that I do actually really like the white aesthetic. I don't think I'm gonna go ahead and do any white builds for myself anytime soon. I pretty much like my black build, but I can understand why this lights, especially in that shot when those studio lights went off and you saw those RGB rainbow pop. It was pretty good. So this case originally came with these 3 fans. I moved the ones that came on the top to the bottom as intake and kept the rear as exhaust, and then the 240mm AIO went up to the top with the tubes coming down. The really cool thing about this graphics card is that it has the PCIe 8-pin coming out the back of it. I believe that was for the HP Omen GPU support bracket. This case has the cutout for your PCIe cable coming all the way here, so it actually kind of works out where it loops up in and comes out the back. It looks very aesthetically pleasing, and I am a big fan of how that looks. I wish I could say I planned that, but that was a happy little mistake.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Before we can talk about how much it cost to put this thing together, let's talk about some of the games I got to play on it to see how it performed. First up, we have Counter-Strike 2 Benchmark on very high settings, coming in with an average FPS of 285 and 1% lows of 138. Next up, we played a little Fortnite, and you can see me get absolutely wrecked here with an average FPS of 268 and 1% lows of 140. Then I ran the Marvel Rivals benchmarking tool on high settings, came in at an average FPS of 80 and 1% lows of 62. Then I took a stroll through Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered on high settings, got an average FPS of 86 and 1% lows of 54. Then new to the channel, we have everyone's favorite Cyberpunk 2077, the built-in benchmark on ultra settings. We got an average FPS of 96 and 1% lows at 60. Then finishing off with Black Myth Wukong's benchmark tool on high settings, got us an average FPS of 122 and 1% lows of 99. All right, I was pretty confident that this computer was going to perform very well in those benchmarking tests, and I gotta say, I'm blown away with the results. Whisper cry at performance. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what it cost to put this together. So for the original HP Omen 30L that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace, that total cost was $231. Then of course I added in the motherboard, I upgraded to the Corsair RGB RAM, I added in the 240mm AIO liquid cooler, the darkFlash micro-ATX case, and of course the Snow White cable extensions. All of those came out to $227.80. That brings the total build cost for the complete machine, as you see here, to $458.80. Now I want to get this listed on my local Facebook Marketplace. I think a good price to get for this is probably somewhere at $800, $850. From what I've been seeing in the market recently, I think PC prices are going a little higher now. I think I'm going to start this a little higher at $900 and leave a little room for negotiation. So what do you guys think of this PC right here? What do you think of the cost to build and the cost that I would like to get for it? If it does sell later on, I will definitely let you know. I'll cut in, and maybe you're talking to Future Traffic right now. Who knows? Hey guys, Future Traffic here, cutting in. It's about 2 days since I filmed that last clip. The listing on Facebook Marketplace has been up for probably about 24 hours at this point, and I would say about 12 hours after I listed, I had to mark it as pending because someone wanted to buy it, and guess what? It sold. I just came from there. I sold the PC for the price of $900. I don't know what I said in the previous clip, but I listed it for $950 based on the current market, and they talked me down to $900, so I'm pretty sure that I said that I was interested in getting $800 for it. So definitely $100 extra never hurt anyone. So with that, we would go ahead and add that to our total. We'll add that right here in the counter, the full sale price of $900. That gives us a total profit for this build of $441.20. That brings our total for the channel to $683.72. I gotta say, selling this PC much faster than I sold the last one. I know it had better specs, which is probably why it sold faster, but it feels pretty good and pretty motivating for this channel going forward and for building PCs in general. So thank you guys for watching. It definitely helps the channel grow. And yeah, I guess back to past me. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed this build, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you tell me down in the comments what you think about this build. What do you think of the build cost? And what do you think about how we put it together and the aesthetic? Do you like white builds? Do you prefer black builds? What about rainbow RGB? Let me know down in the comments. Also in the comments, let me know what you think about the motherboard swap in this. I know plenty of people have swapped swapped out HP Omens into other cases. I looked into it a little bit and I just decided that I didn't want to deal with the BIOS and the lockdown of the HP Omen ecosystem. Let me know what you think. I will probably try to list the HP Omen parts, the 120mm liquid cooler they have in there and the motherboard on eBay and see if I can get those sold. Maybe put a little bit of that money back into our funds for this channel. But anyway, thank you once again for watching the video. Everyone take care. Have a good one.